abilities. This all is part of, the mind. And then again, if there are situations that disturb your peace, then you have to resolve those. Hello everyone, Coach Chris here. Today I'm going to talk about health and wellness. And this is going to be a real short video. I'm doing this because there's a lot of people that I know recently that have been suffering from all different types of health issues, and a lot of them are just lifestyle related, meaning the things that people have control over. And there's 5 basic things that we can focus on to make sure that we have a high quality of life and allows us to do the things that we like to do or want to do in our life, in our lifetime. So the 5 things are, in no particular order, we'll start with number 1, hydration or water. In the United States, there's a lot of cities that still fluorinate their water. And I think it's really important that if your city is one of those cities that fluorinates the water, like I'm in Chicago, and they definitely fluorinate the water, so you want to have some type of filtration system that removes fluoride from your water, whether it's distilling it, which is a way. Then if you distill water, you might probably going to have to add some minerals back into the water, because distilling removes minerals from the waters as well. But fluoride is very harmful. Do your research on that. Fluoride is like a byproduct of industry, but there's also mineral fluoride. But the thing about it is, it said that fluoride strengthens teeth and bones, but there's been plenty of research and studies that contradict that information. So there's 2 sides to this. There's the one side of the line where dentists are promoting it, and then there's the other side of the line where dentists are saying that it's very harmful. If you do your research, you will find plenty of evidence to support the fact that fluoride is very harmful to the human body. So, but that's the type of water you drink, and you want to make sure that you get enough water. They say make sure you drink enough water so that you're not thirsty. If you're thirsty, supposedly, then you're kind of dehydrated. So you want to make sure that you drink enough water each day to stay hydrated, whatever that is for you. But you shouldn't be thirsty. I would think that once you're thirsty, then you are running low on water. So whether it's 8 cups of water a day, I see people walking around with a gallon jug of water and drinking a gallon a day. If you can drink that much water a day, that's fine. I personally don't drink a gallon of water a day. I probably drink somewhere around 60 to 80 ounces, depending on the day. And then pop and juice are not necessarily considered water, so you want to make sure you're still getting water even though you're drinking liquids. The body uses water for many, purposes, lubricating the joints, moving nutrients throughout the body, flushing toxins from the body. So make sure that you have enough water to do that, and also to dilute the toxins that the body produces. We are composed of trillions of cells, and each cell is a living organism onto itself, and each cell produces energy and it produces waste. And so when our bodies release that waste and it's filtered down to our kidneys, then we want to make sure that it's not so concentrated that it can harm the kidneys. So make sure you drink enough water. Number 2 is movement. Our bodies were designed to move. We have joints, we have muscles, we have tendons, we have ligaments. I mean, just look at our ancestors and look at history and nature as your guide. We are designed to move, and today most people, I'm not gonna say most people, but a lot of people, I don't know what the numbers actually are, but there's a good percentage of people that are sedentary. And I probably could say most people. If you look at the numbers of the people that are considered overweight or obese, a few years back it was 75% of adults were either overweight or obese, but that was before the 3 years that just transpired when people were spending a lot more time in their houses and less time moving. So movement is important because the body's designed to move, like I just said. When you're moving, you're actually moving, fluids through your body, helping the body flush toxins out of the system. But movement in its various forms also helps to strengthen the body. For example, lifting weights or running or biking or swimming or sports, those types of movements, or dancing or yoga or tai chi or qigong, those types of movements, calisthenics, are all going to benefit the body. So you need to incorporate, I guess you could say, a couple of different types of movement. You definitely want to incorporate some type of flexibility type activities like yoga or just stretching, because tendons, ligaments, and joints, well, not the tendons and ligaments, they don't stretch, but your muscles do, and you want to maintain the range of motion and the integrity of each joint. So the less movement you do, the less flexible you'll be. Also the movement, whether it's some type of weight training, we do need to do that because that strengthens the joints and the bone. The bones need to have a certain amount of stress placed on them to maintain the integrity of the bone. So everybody needs to do some type of resistance training and some type of flexibility training. And I would say those two together are the major ones. And then, the other type of movement that stimulates the cardiovascular system. So you have movement for cardiovascular, which would be like swimming, biking, running, or something that keeps the heart rate up for a certain amount of time to stimulate your cardiovascular system, exercising your heart, your lungs, and your circulatory system. Some type of movement that works on stretching to maintain the integrity of the joints, the range of motion in your muscles. And then some type of resistance training that puts stress on the body, particularly the muscles, to keep them strong. That's why they say that, men usually are less likely to develop osteoporosis, which is a deterioration of bone tissue, because they're more likely to be doing weight-bearing movements and weight-bearing exercises. And when you place stress on the bones, they respond by becoming stronger. So some type of weight-bearing exercise, some type of flexibility exercise, some type of cardiovascular exercise, those types of movements are important. Rest. We need a certain amount of rest because we're living organisms and our bodies need time to heal and repair, and most of that healing and repair work is done when we're resting, when we're asleep. So when I say resting, obviously we'll talk about two different types of rest, just mentally giving yourself a break. But when I talk about rest, I'm talking about when you're sleeping, so that allows your body to do its healing and repairing work because you're not conscious and you're not moving, so the body can direct that energy. I want to say direct the energy towards healing and repairing. And so we have different sleep cycles. I think we cycle through like 4 different cycles. And it's the rapid eye movement or the deep sleep, the delta sleep, where we actually get our healing work done. So we cycle through those about every hour and a half. We're going through the 4 cycles of sleep. So if you don't get enough rest, then you're not giving your body enough time to actually do its healing and repair work. And eventually that will take its toll. So rest is just important. Just think of it like a cell phone. If you don't charge it up, I'm just gonna run out of juice pretty soon. And most people don't push themselves that hard that they're gonna just like fall out, but some people do. They just get to the point where they're just so tired that they need to rest. So you wanna have a sleep schedule, and you want it to be pretty consistent. So you wanna try to go to bed at the same time and get up at the same time. And as far as the amount of sleep that you need, that varies from person to person. I mean, some people are fine with 5 hours of sleep. Some people like to sleep for 9 hours or anywhere in between there, maybe a little bit longer. But, also there's people that sleep too long and then they feel tired, like they slept too long. So you determine what works for you, but make sure that you have a good schedule and you try to maintain the same, amount of sleep, most days, going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time. So that's water, movement, rest, nutrition. Nutrition is huge, obviously. The body does its healing and repair work when you're sleeping. The body is making billions of cells each day. Billions. We're composed of trillions of cells, but the body's making billions of cells per day. And so the body makes cells from what we feed our body. The nutrients that we use are the materials that the body uses to build new cells. And we're all making new cells every day. Everybody's clipped their fingernails before. Everybody's gotten a haircut. Everybody's cut themselves. And your cuts are healed up now, your fingernails grow back, your hair grows back, and the same thing's happening internally. Cells are dying and cells are being regenerated. There's a ratio that they talk about, and the ratio is 25%, 50%, and then 25%. And that represents, you have 25% of your cells that are in the production cycle, 50% are actually functioning, they're what makes you up, and then 25% are dying off. So that cycle continues, 25% being regenerated, moving into the 50% that are functioning, and 25% are dying off. And those numbers are just general numbers. I mean, it's probably not black and white like 25, 50, 25, but you have a certain amount of cells that are being generated, a certain amount of cells that are functioning, and a certain amount of cells that are dying off that are being replaced by the cells that are being generated. So that's the cycle. And so the food that you consume is what the body's using to replace those cells. And according to science, there's certain nutrients that we need, certain vitamins and certain minerals, and there's certain foods that provide those. So It's said that you have a new body every 7 years, and just based on the fact that the body's constantly recycling, you can see how that could happen. But if you are eating, low quality, poor quality food for a certain amount of time, then the cells that are being replaced are going to be, deficient cells, and eventually they're going to contribute to a deficient body. That takes time. So, it could be, a year, it could be 20 years of nutritional abuse. But if you abuse the body nutritionally, then eventually you will see the consequences of that. You will have consequences from that. So it's important to, get good quality foods, and what good quality foods are foods that come from the earth, natural foods. I'm not saying you have to be a vegan or a vegetarian, but you definitely want to get, bulk of your food from the earth, whole foods. Whole foods are things like, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, grains, and other, foods that come from the earth. And of course you can have, if you like flesh, if you want to have a piece of chicken or a piece of beef or a piece of fish, make sure that it's, pasture raised if it's, chicken or beef. And then definitely definitely don't want farm raised fish. You want wild caught fish. So do your research on that. Just try to get the highest quality food you can. It's said that, you should spend the bulk of your money, or a good amount of your money, on your food. Most people don't. I'm going to rephrase that again because I don't know what most people do. But I know a lot of people, just driving past a drive-through, people eating fast food every day. So that's not high quality food. Or they're eating McDonald's and they got on $500 gym shoes and, $200 jeans and $100 shirts and $500 watches and so on and so forth. $60 to $100 hairdos and fingernails or whatever the case may be. But the food they eat is it's garbage. So if you want to look good and feel good, you have to take care of yourself. And then, that all, affects your psyche as well. The types of foods you consume are going to affect your mental health, which we're going to talk about that. That's the fifth thing we're going to focus on, is the mental health. But so the foods that we consume are what we are actually, they're actually creating our body. And they're either going to make sure that they're going to enhance our ability to function on a daily basis, or they're going to detract from our ability to function. And like I said, it takes time. If you're eating processed foods every day, eventually you will see the effects of that. And I mean, you can have a snack or a treat. Like I said, I'm a trainer, and I prefer to use the word treat over cheat. Like, people talk about today's my cheat meal, it's my cheat day. But just cheating or cheating is a negative connotation. So make it a treat. Make it something that you earn and you deserve it. So I'm going to have a treat today. My treat is going to be pizza and beer, whatever the case may be. Not I'm cheating to have pizza and beer. Like, who are you cheating? You cheating yourself? No. So just change the mindset of how you're feeling your body. But again, it's important to get proper nutrients because that's what makes up the body. And then the fifth thing is the mindset, which is, mental health. And there's a lot of things that can affect people's mental health, just from, just the way people think, the experiences they've been, exposed to throughout their life. I mean, there's a lot of things that can affect people's mental health. And so depending on, what types of situations you have dealt with or encountered, there might be different ways that you have to deal with those type of situations to regain, mental balance and mental stability. PST, post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD is a mental issue. And I mean, if anybody's been through any types of traumas, I mean, it can be emotional trauma, relationships, mental abuse there, or, physical abuse, or even harm, hurting yourself some kind of way, trauma, all can affect the mind. And the mind is, it's very, let's say, intricate, and there's a vast amount of information and knowledge on the mind, but I still don't think we know everything about the mind. But we do learn from how we think and what we believe, and how those things produce what we experience. Of course, I always do these videos, and I'm going to mention my book again. The video is not about the book. The video is about the 5 things that we need to do to stay healthy, because like I said, I know people that are just like dealing with health issues day in and day out, and I'm sure you do too. Everybody knows somebody that's dealing with health issues, and some people they just have given up on themselves as far as, if they've gained a certain amount of weight. It's like, yeah, it's too hard to lose 100 pounds. It's too hard to lose 150 pounds. It's too hard to lose 50 pounds. I like what I'm eating. I like the way food tastes, because food is addictive. But so then you have to ask yourself a question. What do I want? Do I want to be healthy, or do I want to just, satiate my taste buds, or just eat what I want to eat because it just tastes good and I don't care what the consequences are? And I think there's a balance. I think you can do both. I think you can have your treats and eat healthy. And obviously, if you eat something that's unhealthy every day, it just seems like after a while that would get old anyway. If you eat the same, fried chicken every day, cheeseburgers every day, fried this, fried that, after a while, it's not even good anymore. But if you maybe have fried chicken once or twice a month, that's a treat. It is to me anyway. I'm not to say I even eat fried chicken every month, but the point being, as opposed to eating something every day, after a while it loses its allure. So back to the mental aspect. So we're talking about mental health, and so we need to do things to keep our mind sharp. I mean, simple things like, as long as you're reading things, or you're thinking critically about situations, or you're doing some type of puzzle, or you're having, deep conversations, or watching stimulating, videos or movies, or having stimulating conversations, or writing, or, being creative, using your creative abilities. This all is part of, the mind. And then again, if there are situations that disturb your peace, then you have to resolve those, because it's important to be mentally healthy. I think that if somebody's physically healthy but they're not mentally healthy, there's going to be a disconnect there. I mean, it's a whole, it's a dichotomy, and it all works together. Excuse me, I don't mean dichotomy. I mean, well, you could say that, physical and then mental, but also synergistically everything working together. And so if one part is not working properly, then it's going to affect the other parts. So what good is a very strong, healthy body when your mind's not right? Or what good is a strong, healthy mind when your body's not right? There should be balance there. And then I think that, just as a spiritual being, you're going to feel, more at peace and more, comfortable and happy and healthy when you recognize that you have addressed all aspects of self, and you are, working on yourself in all those areas. And that brings me to the last point, which is, if any one of these 5 areas is not where you want it to be, or where it should be as far as a high level of health and wellness is concerned, then you just work on it. It's something that you work on. Just like, like I said, I've been a trainer for a very long time, and training is the perfect metaphor, analogy for any other aspect of life, because it's always like, if you are 100 pounds overweight, you're not going to lose 100 pounds going to the gym one time or 2 times or a week or even 2 months. It's a process. You keep going and you get results. So any other aspect of life, you just keep doing what you're doing, and you get closer to your goals. But it's a journey. We've all heard that it's a journey. So, it's not like, you snap your fingers and you've achieved your goal. It's going to take a little time. But, enjoy the process. Enjoy taking care of yourself. Enjoy making yourself feel good. Enjoy, respecting yourself. Enjoy appreciating yourself. Enjoy loving yourself. Enjoy yourself so you can be enjoyed by other people. I think when, we don't feel good about ourselves, then, that's going to show in our relationships and our interaction with other people, and just in our energy, overall. So I did mention my book. My book is called Innerstanding, Creating Your Life, Your Reality from the Inside Out, which means, we create from our minds. So what we're thinking is going to generate what we experience. And if you haven't done any research on that, look into quantum physics. It's really amazing, because it just kind of helps explain some of the things that we experience. But I think if you do some critical thinking on your own and just pay attention to how your life is unfolding, you will see that your mind plays a major role in how your life, manifests. All right, so that's it for today. Don't forget to share the knowledge. Peace. And I'll talk to you again soon.